was the last quarter of my senior year. We had to prepare a senior speech over some complex yet specific literary analysis of The Taming of the Shrew. The speech was very technical. The whole 20 slides were 20 seconds each, no words, and one big picture on each. I remember feeling nervous for that speech, similar to the way I had for any other speech, but 10 times worse. Standing up there looking out at my Comp 2 class of only 11 students, I was very stressed. I was shaking and just wanted my 6.5-minute speech to be over. Communication apprehension is most commonly defined as the anxiety felt towards the thought of or the actual act of communicating. It is often connected with the fear and anxiety people experience at the thought of being evaluated by others. Some researchers connect it with the actual worry about one's self-image. Everyone has experienced communication apprehension. You know the feeling. You wrote the speech and you felt confident. You knew the material, but the closer and closer and closer it came to the time slot, the more nervous you became. Butterflies, as they often were referred to, were wreaking havoc in your stomach. You were desperately flipping through your note cards, trying to get even more practice and telling yourself you would be fine. And you would, but someone with communication apprehension needs more than a few minutes to calm down. Today, we will focus on 3 of the 4 main types of communication apprehension: context, audience, and situational. These 3 types are considered a psychological response, whereas the 4th is considered partially genetic. Contextual anxiety is based off specific communication context. Various levels of formality, uncertainty, and novelty can make one's anxiety when speaking worse than usual. Formality can be a terrible stressor on some individuals. They can worry about discontinuity of information from themselves to the audience. Some may even assume that they have to prove themselves to their audience. For many, uncertainty plays a large role in their apprehension. They worry that they have not prepared enough material, have not practiced enough, or that they will mess up. The most common example used to explain context anxiety is public speaking in general. Nothing specific is making the individual anxious other than speaking in public, whereas audience anxiety has a more specific cause. Audience anxiety refers to an anxiety experienced due to the audience's size, status, similarity, familiarity, or many other factors. My first experience speaking in front of a group other than my peers was for my high school student council, or STUCO. 2 members from the STUCO went to the Rotary's Club monthly meeting. Lots of people were there who not only played an important role in the Rotary Club, but also played important roles in our community. The speech itself was very casual, simply a rundown of recent events and upcoming events at my high school. Knowing that each person in the audience was important, however, and that I was representing my school caused me to feel very anxious about my not even 2-minute long speech. Audiences themselves can put newfound stress upon a comfortable situation, but on the other side of the spectrum, anxiety can simply occur when you're comfortable with your audience but nervous with the situation. Situational anxiety is due to a specific situation that doesn't necessarily relate to the person you're communicating with or what you're talking about. Situation anxiety is a special combination of audience and context, and it creates a unique anxiety-inducing scenario. Say you go on a date with a new person who you like. You 2 decide to visit a new place. Suddenly you're with a new person at a new place, eating new food, starting new conversations. This is a prime example of situation anxiety. Perhaps slightly more applicable though. Say you've prepared a presentation for a certain location where you're knowledgeable of the technology available. You know that they'll be able to run your PowerPoint, so you haven't practiced without it. However, the location changes to a different room where you assume there is the same amount of technology available. Only when you show up to the new location, they are unable to run your PowerPoint, and even though you've never practiced without the visuals, you have to deliver your speech. It goes without saying, you would be extremely anxious and most likely seem underprepared. This could also be considered situational anxiety. Comprehension apprehension comes in many forms with no one single form being set in stone. The types mingle together and form subtypes and mixes of each, but you're certainly not the only one who feels nervous speaking in front of people. It's suspected that almost 70% of students suffer from a certain level of communication apprehension. The most common tips to help curb public speaking nerves are to think positively, prepare as much as possible in order to reduce unknowns, to clearly organize your ideas, to practice in conditions similar to where you will be speaking, and to anticipate the reactions of your body.